So then you went into Tiny Life. Were you in Tiny Life when all this was going on?
No.
No. So
No,
how
I
was
wasn't.
this what paved your path?
Well, I mean, that was 23 years ago that happened, and I was working as programme manager in Banbridge Council at the time for peace funds. So I'd been kind of working either in the charitable sector or on the periphery of the charitable sector for a number of years before that. But I actually went from there into Sure Start. Okay. So I set up a Sure Start programme in South Armagh. I worked for an organisation called Early Years. Spent many years there. Loved it. Loved working in Sure Start. Dervla was only 6 months old when I joined it, and I worked there. Gosh, I don't know. My memory's atrocious, so I don't remember now. But I worked there for quite a few years. So I kind of knew that Early Years was the place I felt comfortable and I enjoyed and I liked. Went from that to an organisation called Community Development and Health Network. So my mummy was I have a real sense of justice and social justice and redistribution of wealth in society, and we look after people that for whatever reason are on have fallen on tough times. There but for the grace of God go any of us. And I got that from my mother, who was a wonderful woman, did lots of voluntary work and all sorts. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. But I loved my time in CDHN. Our work was around health inequalities, and when you mentioned to me earlier before we started about it's not enough to have a service and expect people to come along and use it. You've got to put your hand out and say, come, come with me. I have something here that I think you're going to hear. So I've always been really interested in that. That's really been a driving force big part of my ethos. And it was a big decision for me to leave CDHN. I'd been there for 11 years. I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved the team. It's just such happy times. But I thought, right, I need to leave this before I don't love it anymore. And I left and I went to work for a disability charity, and then I left that and I worked in palliative care for a while. And so I'd nursed my sister and I had nursed our mother through her last days. She'd had dementia for 10 years. And, palliative care to me was, another one of those areas where it was like, okay, I've been through this now. I've got some lived experience of it. And, I'd love to be able to do something to support other people. And while it was the All Ireland Institute of Hospice and Palliative Care based in Dublin, worked with them, loved it. And just out of the blue one day I saw Tiny Life, chief executive job come up, and I thought, ooh. I'd always said, I'd been saying for years, if that job in Tiny Life ever comes up, I really want to go for that. But when you're thinking that's not going to happen, it's quite a safe thought to have. And then when the opportunity presents itself, you're like, now I have to do this. Anyway, got it, and just over 2 years ago. And oh my goodness, do I love it. I love it so much.
What would you say the biggest challenges are out there for NICU families? What do they present themselves as?
Gosh, there's many. I think everything we've talked about. So, the physical trauma that you've gone through.
Yeah.
Separation from your baby.
Big time.
Practicalities of managing a family at home, or if you've care and responsibilities elsewhere as well. Financial stress is huge. Families who were maybe just managing, this can be the thing that can tip you over into no longer managing. Stress is about having to leave your job unexpectedly early, and how that will impact your length of maternity leave, because of course we don't have the neonatal pay and leave legislation here yet. And then you have the set in of the trauma that you have come through. You have the strain that it can put on a relationship. Even the best of relationships can become very strained under these circumstances. I think people often think that prematurity is no big deal. You know, she came a wee bit early. She wasn't that great. You didn't have to be pregnant for full 40 weeks, and don't have no concept of the many
challenges
that
brings
it can
with
face.
it.
Absolutely. So then you as a parent are navigating that transition home, and there's the anxiety and the fear, and then you're measuring your baby against other babies, and are they reaching their milestones when there's no need to be, because they're going at their own wee pace as they should do. So yeah, when you think about it, there's a huge amount going on.
Support. So, like, does Tiny Life just show up, or do parents need to go and seek out Tiny Life, or how does it actually work? If somebody went in now and had a baby in a premature date, where would Tiny Life come into that picture, and how?
So it can happen both ways, Belle. We have a family support practitioner in every unit. They're usually in at least once a week. And when they're in the unit, they will, do their best to make contact, especially with new families that have come in. So they will introduce themselves, they will tell them a little bit about the support that Tiny Life offers, and they will ask if the family are interested in being referred in for support. And we take some details and, make that happen. Sometimes though we will miss a family, or a family just won't, be in the mood to kind of listen, or, not in a place where they can hear the information that you're giving them. So there's usually, I think in all of the neonatal units, there's information about Tiny Life, and the nursing staff are very, very good at, reminding people that we're there.
Yeah.
But one of the services that we offer is the biggest kind of hook for people to get to know Tiny Life, and then to maybe want to go on and use some of our other services, and that's the breast pump service. So I think I think Belfast is the only unit that provides their own pumps, and all of the other units we provide
It's
them.
amazing service. I know, I've seen
It's a great service, hospital grade pumps, and kits that you bring home with you. And, we're very lucky that Kate, that manages that programme for us, is breastfeeding, certified breastfeeding counsellor. Brilliant, very knowledgeable. So, yeah, that's great. And we're there just to provide support. People can feel very under pressure when it comes to breastfeeding. It can be a bit of a divisive topic sometimes, but, our message is, look, this is like liquid gold for your baby. It's what's best for your baby at that time. But if you can't do it, there's the milk bank, And if you can do it and you want to, because some women don't want to, and
that's okay.
I 100% get that. Having been there,
it's not the easiest thing to do.
It is by no means the easiest thing to do. So we are literally there in the background saying, whatever your choice is here, we're going to support you. And if your choice is that you want to do it, well, we have these great breast pumps for you to use.
Fantastic service.
Yeah.
It really is. With mental health now, what would the support look like for that, for somebody that needed some mental health support?
We're limited in what we can offer in terms of mental health support, and because there's such a spectrum of support that families will need, we're very much at the kind of, advice, signposting end of it. So we don't have any mental health practitioners on our team at all. But we provide a listening ear, and with permission, we will signpost on to other organisations like Aware, for example, Inspire, any of the big mental health charities. We'll always encourage people to seek professional support if we feel like that's something that they're going to benefit from. But our job is very much a listening ear,
Mm-hmm.
and to provide the emotional support, which is part of mental health support.
Yeah.
But that's, yeah, we kind of need to know what our parameters are with this, and not overstep into territory that we're not
Okay.
experienced or qualified to,
But you're there.
we're very
and
much there.
the presence and reassurance and
And
compassion
information.
and information.
A lot of time,
signposting.
yeah, information's really important. Consistent information that we're happy to go back and give over and over again. Because when you're in a state of high emotion and you're not able to take information in, sometimes you need to be able to go back and say, tell me that again. So,
What message would you give now to someone currently in the NICU, a parent, about tiny life? What would you say to them about using the services?
well, of course I'm going to say, use the services, because you've nothing to lose and you've everything to gain. And I think sometimes you probably won't feel the benefit of it until you're out of the unit. When you're in the unit, I think you're kind of your go-to is to maybe isolate yourself, or think, I don't have the energy to talk to anybody else.
Yeah.
But we're there. So it's, yeah, in Tiny Life we have this kind of agreement amongst us all that we stand beside parents. We're not leading them. We're not pushing them. We're just beside them.
Yeah.
And if they want us to hold their hand, we're more than happy to do it. That's our job. We're the invisible hand holders. We're sometimes very visible, because we do wear those bright yellow T-shirts, so it's hard to miss.
I know.
And that's all that we want to do. I always say the most important thing for me is that anyone who has an interaction with us walks away feeling like we care about them, we love them, and we want the best for them and their baby. And so I hope people do have that experience of us.
It is about that. The parents matter too.
Oh,
Very much so, don't they?
very much so.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
And we want parents to feel like they've got this, network of support around them.
yeah.
And whilst family and friends are going to be a big part of that, we want to be a big part of that too. We try really hard to do that.
Yeah.
We don't want the support to end in the unit. We want there to be support once you come out, groups that you can go to, where you meet other families that are in the exact same boat as you, because that peer support is so important.
Yeah.
And supporting the home as well,
Okay, and one last question, I suppose. So Tiny Life is a charity.
Yeah.
How could listeners help you?
So it might be interesting for people to know a little bit about how we're funded.
Yeah.
It takes so there's I think there's 26 of us at the minute. We're based right across Northern Ireland. And our head office, our main office base is in Belfast. It takes just under £1 million a year to run the organisation.
Wow.
Yeah. We get about half of that from health trusts. So in each health trust we have a contract, and that contract goes towards funding the family support practitioners that are in the units. We also get funding from the Department of Health, from the Public Health Agency, and from the Department of Education, and we apply for grants, and the other half of the money we have to fundraise. And it's a very competitive environment out there. We're a small charity, and we are, of course, in competition with much bigger charities.
Yeah.
Our families are incredibly generous with their time and with their money. And we would always say to families who seek a way to show their appreciation for what we've done, great, we're never going to say no to that. Come to our events or do a fundraising activity yourself. People are so creative, and there's just like there's a wee girl, I think her name's Belle actually. She makes scrunchies for us.
Yes.
Sells them.
Oh, yeah.
Love
I
it.
know that Belle.
Yeah.
Bella, actually.
Bella. Yeah.
Yeah.
So met her at Antrim Half Marathon.
Excellent.
So, oh, listen, people are really creative and generous, but there's always this dilemma that you have when you're a charity of not wanting to put additional pressure on parents who, are going through the mill.
Already going through.
But also wanting parents to kind of understand that
it doesn't survive.
It doesn't
Like
survive.
the funds.
Charities close all the time.
Yeah. And this is a really necessary one here.
Well, obviously I'm going to say but it is, because if we do, if anything ever did threaten the survival of Tiny Life, which hopefully nothing, touch wood, will, there isn't another organisation out there that can just pick it up. And this is a group of people who deserve support, need it. It's essential. Yeah. They're not going to get it any other place.
No.
And we don't want people to fall through the cracks, and that can happen very, very easily. So that's what I would say. We're heading into a difficult year financially. Very, very difficult. So always will welcome support from parents in whatever way they can give that support to us.
Yeah. So, Joanne, then, the thing that really stands out today, there's so much to take from that today. Being a parent of a premature baby, first of all, is a journey filled with fear, uncertainty, intense moments of separation and sadness. Resilience doesn't mean never feeling afraid, but strength isn't always about having the answers either. It's about showing up for that child, showing up for yourself, and the moments in between. The NICU journey can feel very isolating, and support does come from connection, understanding, and that community around you.
Couldn't agree more.
So Tiny Life helps bridge that gap between medical care and emotional well-being. And families aren't alone as long as they're there. And it's important to remember that. And it is a journey, and it's about taking it one day at a time.
That's it. And just when you said, taking time to look after yourself, gosh, that's advice I wish that someone had made me listen to.
Yeah.
Because it took me many years to actually, for the light bulb to come on for me.
See yourself.
It's not selfish to do that.
No.
It's essential.
Yeah.
It's essential if you want to be the best wife, partner, mummy, friend. You've got to look after yourself. You have to do that.
And I suppose at that time, you know yourself. You can't see.
No.
You can't see that.
No.
So
sometimes that's when you need your sisters or your friends to step in.
Yeah. Or the nurses. Just keep saying that over and over.
Or us. Tiny Life.
Tiny Life, yes. That's another wee thing. Yeah. Push that out. So you're checking in, reaching in.
And I have to say, we're an all-female workforce, and a more loving, compassionate group of women I have never met, or not in such numbers.
Yeah.
That's, I think, one of the biggest strengths of Tiny Life. It's just we all come at this from the same starting point, which is we care. We want to be there. Our only goal here is to support your family. That's the start and end of it for us. So, yeah.
And that's a lovely message to finish with. So if this episode has resonated with anyone, please consider subscribing to NICU and You wherever you listen to podcasts. Leaving a review or sharing the episode really helps these conversations reach the people who need them most. You'll also find links in the show notes if you'd like more support or information. A final thank you to Joanne and to Salento and Meritcom for supporting this episode today and helping make these conversations possible. And to everyone listening, thank you for trusting us with your time and your stories. Whatever stage you're at, please remember, you don't have to do this alone. It's a journey. Take it one day at a time. This has been NICU and You with Belle Stevenson. Take care and we'll see you the next time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a lovely story.
You've been listening to the NICU and You podcast with your host, Belle Stevenson. Supported by Salento and Meritcom. Recorded at and produced by 9874 Creative.